Hey guys, welcome back, and today we are going to be fixing a problem with the CZ P10. I just picked this gun up a few days ago and I've noticed that the magazine release is incredibly stiff, and for me it's pretty much at this stage, this point, unusable for an everyday carry purpose because of that reason. I've heard this is a common issue with these pistols, so today we're going to try to remedy that. So this is going to be kind of a step-by-step instructional guide on how to fix that issue. Okay, let's start off with the things that you're going to need. Obviously, your CZ P10, and I don't know if these issues are just with the P10c or the whole P10 lineup. I don't know. I just have the P10c, so that's what we're going to be working with today. So obviously you're going to need that, something to hold the gun while you punch that pin out, a small set of needle nose pliers, a bright flashlight, a punch, some sandpaper, and I'm going to be using a Dremel with a felt wheel as well to polish up all the internals. Okay, so first thing first, we need to get that pin out of there. So obviously for you safety people, no mag, okay, clear. We're gonna disassemble. Okay, and you can just pretty much discard the slide at this point. We are not going to need it at all. All right, so we're gonna get this punched out. From my understanding, that CZs are very easy to get that pin out. So it's already pretty much, there it goes. And then we want to take our needle nose pliers and we're going to just pull out that little silver piece there. You're not going to really need it for this, but my spring, mag release spring that's in there, the little tiny spring, is still in the gun. You don't need to take it out. If it stays in, it can stay there. If you want to, put some lube on it or whatever, do that, but it can stay in there. If it comes out, it's not a big deal. Just use your needle nose pliers and put it back in. All right, so now what we want to focus on is this magazine release button, and specifically this little V groove right here. We want to polish this V groove up a little bit and get any of the imperfections on the coating smoothed out, making it a little bit easier to press. Okay, so I'm going to start out with 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to work my way up all the way to 800 and try and smooth this thing out as best as possible, and then we'll come in with the Dremel with the felt wheel and polish everything up real nice. And I'm using my punch to wrap the sandpaper around so I can get in that little groove really easily. Alright guys, so now I'm moving up to 800 and we're going to try to smooth this thing out just a little bit more. And just be aware, guys, that I'm not actually removing any material. I'm just smoothing out the coating that's on there to get rid of any imperfections. Okay guys, so we've got this polished up pretty nice now, so I'm going to hit it with the Dremel and get it all nice and smoothed out. Alright, let's see if I can't get you guys a little close-up look of... Alright, so hopefully you guys can see that it's a little more polished than it previously was. So I'm hoping that this is the fix that we're looking for. Also guys, I'll mention that if at any point this feels like a little bit too much for you, or you don't really know what you're doing, or you don't have the right tools, you can always take this to a gunsmith and I'm sure they'll be happy to do it for you. It's really not that difficult, and they'd probably have it done for you in a few minutes probably. So if this is too much for you, just go ahead and find a local gunsmith to do it for you. Okay, so we could probably stop right there, but I'm going to go ahead and polish up our little silver piece right here. And honestly guys, I'm really kind of unfamiliar with CZs, and this is the first CZ I've ever owned, so I'm not really quite sure exactly what they call this piece. I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comments, but this little silver piece here is what we're going to polish up next. So basically what we're doing here is we're polishing any of the points that are going to have contact. So with the magazine release, with the frame of the gun, whatever, so we're going to polish up all the sides that have contact on there. And I will mention that the felt wheel does have polishing compound on it. I had put it on already before I started, so I forgot to mention that. So make sure that you have some sort of polishing compound on there. Okay guys, so now I'm just cleaning up some of the lubricant that I put on here, and that should help in and of itself, but we want to make sure that this thing is oiled up properly. So I'm just wiping away a little bit of the excess here. And we are going to reassemble this guy. Alright, so here we are. We're going to put back together the P10c. Going to want to take your mag release and insert it back in. And we're going to take our pin here. And we're going to stick that in just a little bit, just so it stays right there. And then we're going to take our pliers with our little silver piece here. Make sure that your trigger is forward, because that is resting on that spring inside here that we talked about before. Okay, so we're going to take our polished up silver piece here, and you want the flap, that's what I'm going to call it, the flap. You want the flap to be facing the front of the gun. And you want the wider piece, the thicker piece up top, and the thinner, smaller piece facing the bottom. Alright, so now we're going to put our silver piece back and rest it on top of that spring. You might have to push down a little bit to get it to set, but you'll feel it once it does. Make sure that your magazine release is properly set up in there with that V. And hopefully this takes you less time than it's taking me. I'm sure if the camera wasn't on that it would be a breeze. Seems like every time the camera's on, something always goes wrong. Now put the pin back in. Alright, hopefully that did it. We'll see. No ammo. Oh man. Yes sir, that is much easier. I mean, it's still pretty rough. Way rougher than I think it should be, but it's definitely easier to do now. So, alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. That's how it works, how to do it, and hopefully yours turns out a little bit nicer than this. This isn't bad, but hopefully yours is a lot smoother. Hopefully you wouldn't have to do this in the first place. I'm a little bummed out that I have to do this at all, It's a nice gun, but that's definitely a flaw. But if you enjoyed this video, if you liked it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it. We make new videos like this all the time. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you want to get notified when we make new content, not just about guns, but about a bunch of other different things, go ahead and ring that bell for notifications. That's pretty much it, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.